Hello and welcome to my review of the Infernus Squad for Space Marines for Warhammer 40,000 from the Leviathan box set from Games Workshop. Now, unlike the Stern Guard, you can actually pick these Infernus up in the Ultimate Starter Set, the Starter Set and the £40 introductory set. So they are everywhere. And most likely they'll probably release them individually at some point. So if you just want 5 of these and you don't want 10 that's included in this set, then at the moment the cheapest you'll be able to get them for is that £40 introductory set, which is only £2.50 more than a 10-man unit of Primaris Intercessors. But with the introductory set you're going to get I think 10 termagants and a load of paints and tools and things, so that might be worth considering. The format of this review is as follows. I'll have a look at the miniatures up close. We'll look at the spare parts, of which there are some. We'll go through some size comparisons, and then I will go through all of their rules. The first thing I want to say straight away is, to me, these are the most boring miniatures of the whole box set. I wasn't a big fan of them when they were first kind of announced. While I like the idea of having a couple of flamers in like a tactical squad or something like that, it seems to me that these new Primaris are going down the route of 30k of Horus Heresy, where you had a support squad of just the same weapon. They're going against the Guilliman's doctrine of having a tactical squad where you've got all of them with bolt guns, and then you've got a special weapon and a heavy weapons guy. We've seen this happen first and foremost with the Hellblasters at the start of the release, and that has spilled over to Eradicators and now these Infernus Marines. Super, why do you find them boring? Why do you like them the least out of the set? Well, first of all, they're easy to build, you know, push to fit Primaris Space Marines. Incredibly boring. I'd like some options for my Space Marines. Yes, I knew what I was getting myself into with Leviathan, and the more being easy to build. I would pick up a unit of these that had options though. So let's have a look at what makes these sort of so boring. Well, firstly, you're getting one sprue duplicated, so you're getting 5 Space Marines which will look exactly the same as the other 5. And what I mean by that is I've strategically kind of positioned these the way I have. You get these sergeants, I think they're sergeants, that look very, very similar. The only difference here is, of course, the sprues are duplicated. So they're in that pose with the right leg forward, except one's got the pistol fraying one way and one's holding a grenade, helmeted and helmetless with their incinerators there. If you just look at these, exactly the same minis in exactly the same pose, not much you can really do about that, even with the tactical rocks that they've got by their feet. And that sucks, you know, that we've got 10 here, and we've essentially got 5 sets of twins. The rest of the poses, I mean, standard kind of firing a flamer pose. I would have liked to have seen one running. I think we've got a couple that are, well, 2 of them are bracing. This one's sort of bracing. This one is oddly walking one way. So again, it's the poses as well as the lack of diversity in the unit. So let's have a look at these spare parts then. Well, they're all here in like a small handful, I guess. So you've got a bolt pistol, you've got the other combat blade, so it's essentially from that sergeant, and again you've got the grenade. So you could equip 2 of them with grenades, and then you've got their opposited heads, and again you've got this arm. So the only spare parts you get are from the alternate versions of those sergeants. So size comparisons then. I'll just give you a comparison with the Stern Guard first of all. They are going to be exactly the same height and size, no differences whatsoever. Compared to the Terminators, again, they're going to be a little bit smaller than the Terminators. They're going to be like a head smaller than them. And the Terminators, yeah, just look so much more cooler next to them. The Captain in Terminator armour right here is going to stand way, way bigger than them, and be nice to lead them. And then you've got the Biologists, the Apothecary there, again, yeah, it's odd. It's odd that there aren't Gravis equipped flamers. Personally, I would have preferred 5 of these being Gravis armoured flamers. You know, they've done heavy intercessors, you could do heavy Infernus. I'm giving them ideas now, they're probably going to come out, aren't they? But either way, they're the smallest, I say smallest with the Sternguard Space Marine unit in the set. Compared to some Tyranid models then, I didn't compare the Sternguard to the Von Ryan Leapers in their review, but here they stand. You know, Von Ryan Leapers are way taller than the normal Infernus. The Barb Gaunts, again, will be taller. And then the Prime is also bigger. I mean, it's almost like everything is bigger than the Space Marines in this box set, with the exception of the Neurogaunts and the Termagants. There's only, and the Ripper Swarms, I guess. But there's the Screamer Killer next to the Infernus. They wouldn't really stand a chance, would they, next to that? And then, again, I don't know why I didn't include it, but there's the Dreadnought at the back. So, standard Primaris size units. Then a little comparison with my usual minis. So we have Legacy Space Marine, Slime Marbo and a Primaris. They're going to be exactly the same height as the normal intercessors, so they'll go very well with the rest of your Primaris force. And then compared to a Legacy Space Marine, of course, they're going to be over a head taller than those. And I do question whether they'd go well together with them now. Okay, so this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for this Infernus squad. To start off with, they consist of 1 Infernus Sergeant and between 4 and 9 Infernus Marines. If you're going for 5 of them, that will cost you 90 points. If you're going for 10 of them, it will cost you 180 points. Every model is equipped with a bolt pistol, a Pyre-Blaster and a close combat weapon. Their stat line reads, they're a movement of 6 inches, toughness 4, save of 3+, 2 wounds, leadership 6+, and objective control 1. Their ranged weapons, they've got the bolt pistol, which just works as usual. It's a 12-inch range, 1 shot, 3+ to hit, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1, pistol weapon. So that unit is eligible to shoot in its controlling player's shooting phase, even while it is within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units. Honestly, these extra rules are so hard to read. They're not really kind of friendly in the way they're described. Anyway, I'm just having a moan about that. Then they've also equipped with the Pyre-Blasters, which is the main reason you'd pick them up. The downside of these Pyre-Blasters is that they are extremely short range. Not silly short range, but 12-inch range. So if you're against them, just pick them off from afar. You don't even need to get close to take them out in close combat. Yes, they're going to be moving at you at 6 inches, whoop-de-doo. I mean, they're going to cause a bit of damage if they're in like a transport or something, but I'd be more focused on a big Dreadnought coming towards you or a unit of Hellblasters coming towards you than these guys. It depends on what army you have, you know. If you've got a Horde army with relatively weak armor saves and things, then yeah, these would be a good unit to wipe out, but don't feel the need that you have to get in close to them to take them out in close combat. And if you do, make sure you do get into close combat first. Anyway, back to the Pyre-Blaster. It's a 12-inch range, it's D6 shots, ballistic skill is of course non-applicable, strength 5, AP 0, damage 1. The Pyre-Blaster ignores cover, so they don't get any cover saves, and it is a torrent weapon, which means it automatically hits. So you've got 10 of these and they've all got Pyre-Blasters. Let's say you get 6 on the D6, 60 attacks, all hitting instantly on a strength 5. You know, that could burn a whole unit of 20 if it wounds, and then if they all, you know, fail their armor saves. You know, you've got 60 sort of attacks coming your way. I mean, statistically that's probably not going to happen, but you know, if you've got 10 of these, they are going to wipe out a weak armoured unit, but you have to get them in, you know, that 12-inch range of a target. The melee weapon is just a normal close combat weapon, so they get 3 attacks each, weapon skill 3+, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. Abilities, They do actually have a specific ability which we'll talk about. They have the normal Oath of Moment where you can reroll hit rolls and reroll wound rolls, but they have this specific Infernus ability called Purge the Foe. In your shooting phase, after this unit has shot, you can select one enemy infantry unit hit by one or more of those attacks made with the Pyreblaster. That enemy unit must take a battle shock test. So that's pretty good. You know, if they get one, it just needs to be hit by a Pyreblaster. They don't need to have a wound, or no one has to have died. They just need to have been hit by it, and they're going to be hit because they automatically hit. So that's quite nice that you're forcing your opponent to get a battle shock test. The keywords: infantry, grenades, Imperium, Tacticus, Infernus Squad, and of course Adeptus Astartes. So there you go, that is the Infernus Squad. I think they are lackluster, both the models and the rules. I'm not sure whether I would have had these in this set. Yes, it makes sense from a kind of narrative point of view, you know, them going out and roasting barb gaunts if they get close enough, roasting the Neuro gaunts and the termagants and things. It makes sense from a narrative viewpoint, but I probably would have liked to have seen more of an elite force and have, I don't know, 5 heavy Infernus Marines instead of like 10 basic ones where you're going to have twins. So that's my thought on that. How useful they are? Well, of course, they're an extremely specific tool for a specific job. You know, if you're going up against a horde army, I'd always suggest shooting them from afar with as many bullets as possible, and especially with Space Marines who don't really struggle to hit things. You know, relatively safer distance, you know, from returning enemy fire. You know, with these, the weakness is that you're going to have to get in close to use them. So they might be better used in kind of reserve or holding back near your more vulnerable units to then kind of charge in and roast things. But personally, I'd rather pick Hellblasters or Eradicators. What do you guys think of the Infernus? Do you think they're the most lackluster unit models in the Leviathan set? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down below of what you think of these. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.